We are tonight's entertainment.
What the fuck is this, Chet?
This is a tasty burger.
Were you rushing or were you dragging?
You like Huey Lewis on the news?
Is this your homework, Larry?
Why don't you spill your beans?
Welcome back
To the film school.
to the motherfucking film school.
Who else but us? Am I right?
Who else? You're kind of spitting right now.
Yeah, dude.
Who else would you be listening to? There's no one better.
Imagine like logging on and fucking listen to like JRE or something dumb, like something
Yeah,
irrelevant
something
like
fucking
that.
Stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah. People with that, like, large listener counts.
yeah,
Fuck all that.
and big perspectives on things.
This is those people. You can't trust them. You can't trust what they say.
Yeah.
They've got big corporate America.
They have agendas.
Whispering in their ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have all these hidden agendas behind the scenes. We're just guys being dudes. We have no one.
Yeah.
We're off the grid. No one can taint our opinions.
Yeah,
No one can invite us to premieres and say, "Hey, tell the world that Madam Web is good." We don't have to do that. It's not going to happen.
no one can stop me from drinking milk while watching a movie.
No one can stop me from cup and sack during a movie.
Yeah.
Not a soul.
You think that would be frowned upon if you looked over at a guy and if we were at the theater,
I get
seriously,
invited to the Dune 2 premiere, and then Timothy Chalamet looks over and I'm cup and sack.
or you
He'd
look
respect
over,
that.
you look over at Timothy Chalamet and he's already cup and sack.
And I'd look over and I'd be like, "Dude, you cup sack too?" He'd be like, "Yeah, of course."
And
Austin
you're like-
does too.
You're like, fuck, do I cup sack now?
Because I'm not cool, and
then
I
they
can't
might
do
think
what y'all do.
yeah.
Y'all are cooler than
They
me.
might think you're trying to copy them.
Yeah.
And they're on a whole nother level.
But then if I uncup sack, then they might think I'm not liking the movie.
Yeah.
Then I'd be in a predicament.
What a catch-22 this is.
Yeah, so we just got some shenanigans, some hijinks to get up to today. First off, I don't know if y'all remember this segment or not, but me and Carl decided to have a segment where we talked about real-life things. Carl thought it should be called The Inside Scoop. I thought it should be called The Scoop of Life. He made fun of my name.
It was our biggest debacle.
What I'll say
Scoop
is,
history.
whenever it's my segment, it's called the motherfucking Scoop of Life. Whenever you tell some dumb shit, you can call it whatever you want. But this is my time, and I have something to say, and it's in the motherfucking Scoop of Life. I just have a thought I want to get out,
Okay.
and it's that I hate when songs have parentheses in the title.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And I'm not talking about parentheses single version or parentheses featuring blah, blah, blah. If it serves a purpose, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about when a song is named something, but the popular part of the song isn't the title, so they put it in parentheses.
Yeah.
For example, a new song just came out. I know you're not very hip on the net.
You could say that, dude.
Do you know who Ice Spice is?
Yeah, I do know who she is.
Okay.
She's got the crazy orange hair.
Yeah, so she just dropped a new song. It was popular on TikTok while it was like unreleased. So then her dropping it was supposed to be like a big deal. Like now it's official and you can go listen to it on Spotify. But basically, the chorus of the song, or like the good part of the song that everyone thinks is funny or good, is she says, "You think you the shit, you not even a fart." That's
Hang on. Can you do an Ice Spice impression?
no.
Oh, you can't do it as Ice
Fuck
Spice.
no, I can't do that. So she named the song "You Think You the Shit?" parentheses fart.
That fucking blows ass. That's the fart right there.
You
That
don't
fucking
think
title.
people click on Ice Spice's profile and see "You Think You the Shit" and don't know what song it is?
Yeah.
You think that's what's happening? And it's the same thing. It's not even just bad songs. It's stuff like Rocket Man. Rocket Man by Elton John is called Rocket Man, parentheses, I think it's going to be a long, long time.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid. Name it one or the other.
Yeah.
Name it. Guess what? Rocket Man's a sick-ass fucking name. So just
Yeah.
name it
You
that.
nailed it that to begin with.
Do audiences not have any brain power that can just say, "Oh yeah, that's the song," and not have to be fucking baby fed
Yeah.
with like, oh, here's the popular part of the song that you probably know, you fucking idiot.
Worlds Apart is another one.
Yeah, exactly. It makes me so mad. It's like, where's the nuance here? Imagine if movies did that, and it was like...
It was Dune, and then in
like,
parentheses, where Timothée Chalamet kills a guy.
Imagine The Dark Knight's title was The Dark Knight, parentheses, Batman Begins 2. That's what we're talking about here. It's like, audiences can't figure things out on their own. There's a Jim Croce song that I've been listening to called Operator. Parentheses, that's not the way it feels.
Yeah.
Just call it Operator.
Yeah.
Or call it, that's not the way it feels.
One or the other.
Fucking, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah. I hate
Name
titles.
the song what it's called.
Yeah. I hate titles like that. And I hate super long fucking names for stuff. Like Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Either name it Batman v
I'm
Superman
kind of a sucker for long
or
names.
name it Dawn of Justice. I don't like it, dude. Or fucking Birds of Prey and then the Emancipation of One Harley. I don't even know all the words that they fucking put in that goddamn. What hit it?
Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Fuck that shit, dude. You can suck a dick.
That's stupid.
I
agree
that
there.
shit.
That's stupid. But I don't know. Sometimes long titles can be really cool to me.
Throw out a long title that is cool.
I mean,
I'm not saying there
Everywhere
isn't
All at
one.
Once is pretty long.
Yeah, I don't really love that though.
The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Pretty fucking sick.
I think that was an adaptation, so
It doesn't matter. They could have called it whatever they want.
I don't know. I feel like anytime you can shorthand something, it winds up better. Like Moonlight. Like the original play was Black Boys Look Blue in the Moonlight, right?
Yeah.
And then they shortened it to Moonlight. That's fucking crisp.
Yeah, sometimes, most of the time, a short title is going to work better.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I mean, I can't think of a super long one at the moment. One of my favorite titles is The Place Beyond the Pines. That's not, like, super long.
It's
like
right on the
absurdly
cusp.
long, but it's, like, it's wordy.
Yeah.
But it's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
So fucking mysterious.
That goes hard as shit, dude.
Yeah, and it tells you nothing about what the movie's about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my fucking rant I wanted to talk about.
I can actually roll off of your scoop of life with my own little inside scoop.
Oh, yeah?
Just a little something, but you said I was kind of not hip with the net. I just want our listeners to know that Cash told me what goon meant today.
All right. We didn't need to... We didn't need to get into all
I just wanted them to know. Because I was saying goon in a way that...
in the old context.
Yeah.
Back in the olden days.
Yeah, back in the pioneer times.
Yeah.
But apparently...
Because he said the word... We were out at dinner and he said goon, like, not in the way it means now.
I was eating crab rangoons, and I was like, dude, I'm about to crush these goons. I'm gonna have goon all in my stomach.
Yeah. I'm about to goon all over the place.
Yeah.
And I was like, Carl, I think you should know something. I think you should know what that word means now.
Yeah.
Just so you don't flub up in front of other people that also know what it means.
Yeah. I do work with a lot of young guys.
Yeah, so you...
Well, guys my age, but they're just on the internet.
It may be... It may be just for, like, younger kids. Like, it's kind of below my age, range.
Yeah.
But, like, I know of it, and some people I know say it, but those kids nowadays, they get into whatever.
Those youngsters.
So, one thing, I think this is the only news to cover, but the Fantastic Four was cast.
Who do they got?
Mr. Fantastic is Pedro Pascal.
Don't like that.
I like him as an actor, and I like him as a person.
Yeah, I love Pedro.
But I think people get a little confused when someone says that's a bad casting. A bad casting has nothing to do with if the actor is good or not. A bad casting means are they the right person to play that character?
Yeah.
So, of course, Pedro's super talented, and he's probably going to do good. If I had to bet money on it, I don't think he's going to give a bad performance, but I just think it's kind of a miscast, and I kind of just didn't really want an A-lister. I kind of wanted someone new that they could mold into Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
The same way that in the 2005 version, which I love, by the way, they got pretty much a no-name guy.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, that was Mr. Fantastic. Like, he wasn't an actor.
That wasn't
Tom Cruise playing Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Because you would obviously just see Tom Cruise. You saw this guy who you only knew for this movie. And obviously that's not really the way it works anymore. They're going to get a star, but like just something like Corn Sweat for Superman. Like, we knew of him. We watched Pearl, but
he's busting out of the gates with Superman.
Yeah, he's being molded into Superman. That's what everyone's going to know him from.
I also just kind of wanted like a younger guy. Like, I know Fan Four Stick was a nightmare, but like when they announced that Miles Teller was playing Mr. Fantastic, I didn't like hate that idea.
No.
But I mean, you can, if they came out and they're like, yeah, we got Robert De Niro to play Mr. Fantastic. He's one of the greatest actors ever. And it's like, but I don't want to see Robert De Niro as Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, it's
nothing
on the actor or the actress involved. It's just like,
he feels like the right age to me. I've always thought of Mr. Fantastic as like late 30s, early 40s, and that's the vibes Pedro puts out to me.
yeah.
It's important for Johnny Storm to be young, but
I do want, Johnny Storm does need to be young.
But yeah, I like him as an actor, and I'm sure he'll do well, but it's not who I would have cast. It feels very like, oh, he's popular right now, so let's cast him.
Yeah.
And less about like he's the best person for the job.
Yeah.
Sue Storm is going to be Vanessa Kirby.
I like that.
Big dub there. Great actress. She has the look. She looks like a Sue Storm.
Dude.
And she's also not really like attached to any big characters. Like, you know, she's been in good movies and she's played, you know, good characters, but you're not gonna, it's not like Daniel Radcliffe, you know, like you can't really cast him as Wolverine because everyone's just gonna say that's Harry Potter. And people want him to play Wolverine, which is funny, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. They did that with Pattinson, and they were like, "Oh, the guy from Twilight," like, and then he just fucking blew the lid off the place.
But that's, I mean, maybe people don't agree here, but like, I just feel like that's not an iconic character. They were popular movies for a time, but I'm talking about like Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, Superman, Batman. Like,
okay,
Edward isn't in that conversation.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I also see what you're saying, but yeah, she's kind of a clean slate, but she's up and coming.
That's fucking
great
sick.
Actress. Perfect casting right there,
dude.
That just fits like a glove.
Don't get me started talking about old Vanessa,
yeah,
Curbster, because
best part of Napoleon.
She's got it, dude.
Yeah. Johnny Storm is going to be Joseph Quinn.
So what you didn't want to happen happened, huh?
Yeah.
He is younger than them. That's good.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I don't like hating on castings. I like to just let the actor do their job first and not criticize them just for being cast.
He hasn't done enough for me to like dislike that choice. You know what I mean?
I just haven't seen him in anything except for Stranger Things. Like, he's in Day One. He's in Quiet Place Day One, but we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a good actor. He's getting cast in a lot of stuff.
But that's kind of what you wanted, though, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I can't tell you if, like, he has that kind of range or not. Because I've only seen him as Eddie. So, as Eddie, he was, like, a weirdo.
Yeah.
And he didn't have, like, I thought that Dacre Montgomery would have been a better Human Torch. Like, because he put off that energy in Stranger Things, so we already know he can pull that off.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hate on it. It's not what I would have done. I would have tried to get Glenn Powell or Dacre Montgomery or he might be too tall, but what's his name? David from the Iron Claw.
Oh.
Harrison. something. I can't remember his name, but that guy.
Cliff?
No.
I'm fucking with you. I don't know.
Harris Dickinson. That's his name.
Harris Dickinson. Yeah.
Would have got someone like that, but
he is. I think he's probably too enormous.
Yeah, he's like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah,
he's huge.
He's like, you can get a taller guy, but someone that's gonna. I think Pedro's like 5'10". You put him up next to Pedro, dude. It's gonna be like, whoa.
Yeah. It'd look a little odd, but I think it's okay. Like we'll see what happens. I don't like criticizing castings, like I said. I just want to see what he has to offer, and he could be great.
Yeah.
But I just keep thinking about Chris Evans as Human Torch, and that was just fucking perfect.
Oh god, dude.
Just a perfect casting.
Yeah.
And then
Who's playing Ben?
The thing is, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but his name is Eban, and he's in The Bear. He plays cousin in The Bear.
Ooh.
Which is what I wanted. That was I think I said like months ago, I wanted him to play the Thing. That's a perfect, crazy. Like I was talking about, like he's up and coming. He's just kind of hitting the scene as an actor. And he is very notable as cousin. Everyone likes The Bear, but like good actor, pretty clean slate, fits the character, just makes sense. Just completely makes sense. He has the Ben Grimm vibes. Yeah,
the energy he puts out too. I mean, he's a little like more childish than Ben in The Bear, but like the shit talk and like, you know, I don't know. He puts out Ben vibes. That's got to be really cool when fan casting is like, that's who I wanted, and then they nail it.
Yeah,
that's got to be awesome.
Yeah. I wanted Vanessa Kirby pretty bad for Sue Storm. So like half of them they nailed. And then the other half are like, we'll see.
Yeah.
But it's not what I would have done, but we'll see. So yeah, I mean, that's fun. Like, it's fun to know that there's an official cast, and the picture they released for the cast was like actually pretty cool. It was just art. It was like someone drew art of them in the costumes.
Oh.
And that was how they revealed it. And the costumes were like 60s. It was like 60s themed. And the logo is like 60s themed. Okay. I'm going to pull it up real quick and show it to you. Because if they stick with that aesthetic, it could be pretty gnarly.
How do you feel about the Thing's catchphrase? If you were making a Fantastic Four movie, would you put it in there?
It's clobbering time?
Yeah.
It's got to be in there. It fucking has to be in there. It's like making a Spider-Man movie without saying, with that great power comes great responsibility.
Thanks.
It's like making a Spider-Man movie without saying, I'm going to put some dirt in your eye.
Yeah.
This is the picture they released. Might not be able to see it too well. I can't move it too far, but just them in the costumes.
Oh,
and it's like the old, like 60s themed costumes. And then that's the logo. So it's like,
yeah, I like that.
Retro. Looks pretty fucking sick. I hope they stick with that like color scheme and you know, font and everything. That's really fucking cool.
Yeah, kind of break away from the muted colors that we've been seeing.
Yeah, the newspaper that one of them is holding is a reference to a 1963 newspaper. So people think it's going to take place in 1963, and then maybe there's like a time machine and they go to the who fucking knows.
I'm sure they'll tell some dumb story.
I just love the Fantastic Four, though. I grew up with them.
I do too, man.
In a weird, like, most people grew up with comic book movies like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and X-Men and Batman Begins and like cool shit. I didn't watch any of that when I was a kid. I didn't know what that was. Like, I only knew what my parents showed me. And the only comic book movie I watched as a kid was Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. That was the only one, and I loved it, and I watched it all the time. So I'm holding out hope that it's going to be good, because I have a soft spot for those characters.
Me too. I also think that the Fantastic Four is like one of the bigger like characters in the Marvel franchise. Mm-hmm. Like Doctor Doom is one of the most, I mean, to me, he's one of the most iconic villains like in Marvel comics. Like he's one of the top. If I did a top Marvel villains list, Doctor Doom is up there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and we've never really gotten a good version of him.
Yeah, and then the Fantastic Four too, like have so many stories that they can tell. Like with the Flash, you really have like Flashpoint and like a couple of other things, but the Fantastic Four has so many stuff, and then you would introduce like Franklin Richards and all these other cool things, but I doubt
Franklin Richards?
That's Sue Storm and Reed Richards' son, Franklin Richards.
Oh,
and he's like one of the most powerful like beings in Marvel. Yeah,
I bet. Yeah, I really want that to be good.
Me too.
Like I said, I have a soft spot for those characters, and they've gotten the shits. Like, even though I like those two old movies, the Fox movies, no one really likes them.
Dude,
they're not very critically well received.
My penis was so hard for Silver Surfer.
I thought that movie was fucking awesome.
When he fucking went straight through the building, I was like, you goddamn son of a bitch.
Yeah. I have the fucking double feature Blu-ray of both Fantastic Four.
I didn't know you had
movies.
the Fantastic Fours, dude.
Yeah.
Oh
they sell it in a 2-pack where you get 2 for 1. You get 2 Fantastic Four
You'd have to be an
movies for
idiot
one
not to
price.
pick up that
Yeah,
deal.
you'd have to be a fucking buffoon not to buy that. So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad we have the cast. That's I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I didn't really check to make sure I wasn't forgetting any news. I just kind of, that's all I remember. Really.
Way to go.
That's all I remember really. Apparently Galactus is the villain of Fantastic Four.
What the fuck?
Which I thought they would build up to, but I saw someone tweet. I wish I had saved it, but they were like, I know it seems like Galactus should be a build up to villain, but like, how do you really build up to him? Because he eats planets. So they were like, what should we have Silver Surfer at the end of his movie say, guys, by the way, he's gonna eat your planet. And then he shows up in the next movie and he's like, I'm gonna eat your planet now. Like they were like, there's like, it seems like because he's such a big character that you should build up to him, but they were like, he's kind of just like any other villain and just do it already. So
yeah, but I don't know. Galactus like requires.
Does Galactus control people? Like, do people work for him?
Yeah, like Silver Surfer, like what you saw in Rise of the Silver Surfer is like pretty, like Silver Surfer going and getting the planet ready for Galactus, like him being the herald of Galactus. That's
yeah.
correct.
So that tweet doesn't really make sense.
No,
like,
and then also
because it makes perfect sense for you to start with Silver Surfer because he's like a henchman for Galactus.
Yeah.
Then you defeat him, and then the next movie is Galactus.
And he's a pretty pivotal point. Like they turn Silver Surfer good, obviously, and like he's a pretty pivotal reason like why they beat him in the first place. It's a big team up, and I think even other teams like get involved in trying to fight Galactus. Same as like Thanos and the Avengers stuff.
Right.
I think I could be wrong, but I do know Silver Surfer comes first. That's when they introduce Silver Surfer, and then he gets turned around and then he helps him beat Galactus because he's so powerful.
You know, that's some source material I'd actually be interested in reading. Fantastic Four.
Dude, they got some crazy stories.
I'm not very into reading comics that aren't Batman. Because I read Batman
you don't
comics.
say.
I read Batman comics for very logistical reasons, which is I just want to be informed about characters and storylines because I watch a lot of Batman movies and shows and stuff, and if someone's saying, oh, Hush is the villain of Matt Reeves' new Batman movie, I want to know about Hush. I want to know what he's about, what he's like in the comics, and I want to be informed on things. So that's why I read Batman comics, and nothing else really like interests me in reading, except for like how James Gunn said we're making a movie on the Authority, so now I kind of want to read an Authority graphic novel and get a feel for that whole vibe.
Yeah.
So there's not many people that I want to read about, but Fantastic Four, like the whole Galactus Silver Surfer thing's really interesting, and I'd like to know like the traditional, lore of all that. But yeah, I think that's all we got. Apparently, they want Javier Bardem to play Galactus, which would be perfect.
That's
if they can pull him.
W. The question is, do we want to see a giant cloud again, or did they actually make a giant person floating through space?
They make a giant Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
It's like the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah,
but it's Javier Bardem wearing a big helmet.
Yeah.
And then Silver Surfer's like, "Hey, when are you coming to Earth? Like, I spent fucking years here trying to get him ready. When
Hey,
you
dude,
coming?"
I drilled those
and
holes
then he's
for
like,
you.
"What business is it of yours, friendo?
Where
when
I
I'm
am.
coming to Earth."
That's the one thing I'd criticize the shit out of the Silver Surfer movie. I was like, dude, they made Galactus a fucking cloud. But then I was like,
How do you do it?
Once I got older,
how
I was
else do you
like,
do it?
that's way better than having a giant fucking guy floating through space.
Yeah, that would be an interesting challenge to.
Yeah.
Dude, Galactus is a really cool character in the comics, but it's really daunting thinking about being a filmmaker and trying to adapt that into like Galactus being the main villain of a movie.
Yeah.
Because like, how do you'd have to shrink him down or something. I don't know what happens in the comics, but like, you'll have to figure something out to even the playing field here because he eats planets.
I think he does shrink down.
There must be something.
Like
I
he
don't
can
know.
control, same way with like Apocalypse. You never saw it in Age of Apocalypse, but he can like control his own mass. So I think at some point, like when they get Silver Surfer on their side, he comes down to like fight them, but he doesn't actually like just reach over and squish their planet like a grape.
Right.
Which
Even
I
though
don't.
that'd be pretty cool.
That would be sick. I don't know why he doesn't, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Maybe they'll think of a good reason in the movie.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe just stick to the cloud, dude.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, dude.
He can't beat us if he's a Nimbus.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all we got for news. I've got some trivia, sci-fi
Hit me with
trivia, to fit the topic of the episode. I think they're all easy, but maybe you'll surprise me with how dumb you are. So,
I've been known to exceed expectations.
you have been known to do well in the dumb department.
Yeah.
What's the name of the robot in Interstellar?
Lars.
No.
There's two. There's Lars and... Or is it Tars?
Tars.
Tars, sorry.
Thank you.
Tars and... Fuck, what's the other one? I don't think I remember the other robot's name. Oh, yeah.
What's the name of the time entropy technique used in Tenet?
The time entropy technique. Inversion?
No, like there's
The
a
maneuver?
specific thing, yeah.
The pincer maneuver.
What's the full name?
Is it an inverted pincer maneuver?
Nope.
Double pincer maneuver?
Nope.
What is it?
You're getting it wrong.
I guess so, because I thought it was a double pincer. That's what they called
The
it.
temporal pincer maneuver.
Oh. Okay.
Why do you do that? Like you didn't get the question wrong. You didn't get it right.
That's fine. Go ahead.
You always do this.
It's
Like, you
okay.
have to get it right or you don't get it
all
right.
Go ahead. Keep going.
God, you fucking bitch.
I didn't do anything. I got the question wrong.
You know what you're doing.
I'm ready to move on.
You know what you're doing.
Go ahead.
What are the beings that see the future in Minority Report called?
That I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea.
They're called precogs.
I don't know how I feel about Minority Report. I know I like it.
I tell you how you should feel. You should feel like it's awesome, because it is.
It is awesome, but like I've only seen it once and I don't know. I don't remember what I gave it. I do remember that really funny scene of Colin Farrell like punching his hand. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking give it to you when I catch you.
Yeah. And last one, what is the name of the rare material in Avatar?
Unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
The fucking classic, dude.
Dude, Jim's just the coolest. Like, you know, he put that in there as a placeholder. Like, he was like, there's some type of rare material they need to find, unobtainium. We'll figure it out later. We'll change the name out. It's a placebo for now.
Yeah.
And then he just left it there.
Like 3 days goes by and he's like, it's kind of fire.
I don't know. It's kind of like, this shit's kind of tough. Like, I don't know. I don't know if we should change this.
Holy fucking smokes, dude.
I looked up unobtainium to make sure it was right when I was writing the trivia. And unobtainium is like a term, like a slang term for a material that's unobtainable.
Like an actual like placeholder.
Yeah, it's
name.
like
a red herring.
yeah, like that.
Like
but
people
there's
say
another MacGuffin.
Oh yeah,
Like MacGuffin.
he
is,
just actually wrote.
imagine
MacGuffin
like
in.
it's like someone making a movie and the thing they need to find is called MacGuffin.
That's kind of sick, dude.
And they just never swap it out. Like it's pretty fucking baller.
That's
it's like
pretty-
it doesn't matter what the name is.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna captivate you with cinema,
That's
and you're
pretty
not even
big
gonna
dick.
need a name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my trivia. What do you got for me?
All right, mine I thought were on the tougher side. They're not hard.
That's what
but,
I
like,
want.
You might have to think.
That's what I want.
And one of them has bonus points if you can remember all of them. But
Good thing we keep track of all this trivia.
yeah, what are the nicknames given to the aliens from Arrival?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Thank you. I thought of that while we were eating.
You should always think of your trivia,
Yeah.
like I do. I know this answer. It's two like old comedians or performers or something. Like I know it's not Laurel and Hardy, but like people like that. There's two
Yeah.
guys and they name them after those two guys. Oh, fuck. I keep wanting to say Buster Keaton. I don't know why.
You got it.
It's a one name, man.
It was
I cracked the code.
They named both of them Buster Keaton.
Buster Keaton 1 and Buster Keaton 2. Fuck.
But
That's
actually,
making me so mad.
It had to be Buster Keaton 2 and 3 because there's already one Buster Keaton.
Oh, yeah, right.
So now we're up to 3.
Buster Keaton Jr. and Buster Keaton Jr.
Buster Keaton the third.
Dude, this is gonna make me so mad if I give up and let you say it, because I'm gonna maybe I just need the theme song. Maybe that's what'll like spark the words in my head.
Yeah, sure.
I just want an excuse to listen to the theme song.
Dude, it's so fucking good. What's that song called?
On the Nature of Daylight. I'm not gonna play it because it'll get copyrighted on YouTube. Fuck. I don't know. I can't think of it. If we weren't recording a podcast, I'd say just let me think about it for a while.
Yeah.
But since I don't want to hold them up. So what is it?
Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and Costello. Yep.
Yep.
That's what it is. They're comedians, right?
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did the.
Fuck.
I'm telling you who was on first.
Yeah.
That's them.
Damn it, dude. That was such a great question.
Thank you.
I knew it, but I couldn't put my tongue on it.
All right.
At least I knew, like, it was those two guys, and I just couldn't think of their names.
Yeah, you knew what it was based off of.
Yeah.
You knew the origins.
Yeah.
My next question, probably easier than that one, but in Inception, what is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's totem to tell if he's in a dream?
Another great question.
You get bonus points if you can name. I can only remember 3 totems from that movie. One of them is Leo's, Joe Gord's, and Elliot Page's totem.
I'm not 100% sure. Is Joseph's a coin?
It's not a coin.
He only shows it once, doesn't he?
He does. But it stands out because that's how they explain what a totem is. Joseph Gordon explains what it is.
Because he does the weight thing. It's not a ring. Wow.
Well, you know Leo's,
I know the Leos, yeah.
the top. And then Elliot's, I feel like, was kind of easy because it shows hers a couple times.
Joseph. It's not a coin?
It's not a coin.
Wow, I didn't think you could think of an Inception question that would stump me. But that's another thing, like, the second you say it, I'm going to remember, but...
I actually knew all these.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't have to, like, Google these.
Fuck. I don't know.
Do you know Elliot Page's? Because it shows that character making the totem.
I don't think I remember hers either.
Oh. Dang, I thought you were going to blow out the doors.
I guess my brain goes numb when they start talking about totems. I don't know.
Joe Gorge was a loaded die.
Right, yeah.
And Elliot Page's character was a
Ariadne.
chess piece.
Chess piece.
Yeah. It was a knight, a chess knight that she hollowed out to make like a certain
The
weight
weight
and
feel
feel, so
different.
she could knock it over with like a certain amount of pressure.
Oh.
And Joe Gorge would land on the same number no matter where he threw it.
You know, I remember the die, but I actually didn't like remember that she made a chess piece.
Yeah.
Huh. Nice.
Heck yeah.
That's
That's all I had. I only did
that
two.
two?
Yeah.
I did 4 and you did 2.
I didn't know you were doing 4. I just did the 2. I thought the standard was 2 for a while.
Wow. It's always been 3.
It's always been 2.
I do 3.
You did 3 like a couple times.
3.
But hey, it was 2 for the longest.
But hey, it's all right.
You still want to end the round on a fucking L to both of them.
I just like trivia.
Yeah.
I just fucking love trivia. The more the better. The proof is in the pudding, officer. All right. We got watch list to get into. First up for me, Robert. Are you not aware of what Robert is?
I know what Robert is. Wait. Yeah.
Robert.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
How do you know what Robert is?
You told me about it.
Oh.
Because I think you were like, I'm going to watch this. And I started dying laughing.
Yeah.
Immediately.
The boys just wanted to watch Robert. Someone stumbled across it on Letterboxd, and it had like a 1-star average, and it just looked horrible, and everyone wanted to watch it.
Well, was it hilarious?
It was horrible. Like 10 minutes in, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Oh,
because it always sounds funny. Like, hey, we should watch this bad movie together, and we'll laugh at it, and it'll be fun. But like some movies are just not really made to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to watching really bad movies. Like some people do it all the time, and they'll watch like Velocipaster, and they'll watch shit like that all the time, so they're used to it. I don't really watch stuff like that. Like I try to watch stuff I think will be good, or that I'll enjoy.
I'm always looking for the good stuff.
Unless it's something new, like there's a chance. I'm not going to see Madam Web, but like I do watch stuff like that sometimes if it's new.
Yeah.
Even if the reviews are bad, like that's different if it's new. But going back and watching old stuff that's bad, I'm not used to it. And it's fucking awful. Like it's every horror movie you've ever seen bundled into one, but horribly done.
Nice.
Like the acting's horrible. It's low budget, so it sounds like shit and it looks like shit, and it's so fucking boring. Like Robert doesn't do anything until like 45 minutes into the movie, and then
dude, they can't give you everything. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Have fucking Robert the movie and then have Robert actually doing stuff the whole movie, dude. That'd be a sensory overload.
It's pretty crazy. Like watching that movie, it really makes you appreciate other movies when you watch stuff like that.
So maybe that's what we need. We need a good palate cleanser.
It's still better than The Open House.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you give it?
But I will say this, all right? I always assumed that The Open House had a pretty decent budget because it's a Netflix movie and it had Dylan Minnette in it, who was like big at the time because he was in 13 Reasons Why. And I was gonna roast The Open House and say Robert's better and it had a smaller budget. But The Open House had a way smaller budget than I thought.
What was the budget?
What do you think the budget is of The Open House?
I don't know. I don't even remember a lot from it to evenly guess.
The budget for The Open House is $100,000.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I still fucking hate it, and I still think it's the worst movie I've ever seen. But it makes me feel kind of like a dick for making fun of it so much when it had such a small budget.
Nah, fuck that, dude.
I don't know. It made me feel bad about myself.
They should feel bad about themselves.
I know. Because I was thinking, if I was a filmmaker and I made a movie for free, like me and my friends made it together, it was like $1,000, and and it wasn't very good, and they were like, yeah, I mean, it's all right, but it's not as good as Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Like, yeah, no fucking shit. Like, that's a $160 million movie. Like, you can't. I feel like, obviously, and he's just the best director working right now, so that's obviously I'm not as good of a filmmaker as him, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm just saying comparing movies with drastically different budgets, I feel like is a little unfair, but like not always. I mean,
no, dude. Sometimes creators actually have. The problem is they still just didn't have a fucking story to tell. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Like, at least with Evil Dead, like, he had cool ideas.
Yeah.
Evil Dead, I'm sure. What was the budget for Evil Dead?
Oh.
$40?
I don't know. I mean, I know it was him and his boys out in the woods. Yeah. So
even Paranormal Activity, like, Paranormal Activity was different. Like,
dude, that was like $10,000.
Yeah, regardless of how you feel about the movie, there weren't many movies. Like, they capitalized on what was really popular, which was like all those CCTV like ghost videos on YouTube, and they did a full movie of it, and the movie's interesting. Mm-hmm. Like, shit actually happens in the movie, and that doesn't happen in The Open House.
Yeah. You're right. I'm being too nice to it because of its budget. I mean,
it does sting less that the budget.
The Open
was
House
so
did not have budgetary limitations. Like, there was nothing they wanted to do that they couldn't because of the budget.
If anything, it should have been $50,000 cheaper because it's just Dylan Minnette walking around the fucking house.
That's $45,000 right there. It's just Dylan Minnette.
Where'd the rest of the money go?
Yeah,
what the
catering.
We need.
Like, where'd all this go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Robert fucking sucks. All right, we don't need to talk about it anymore. Right. I mean, it was kind of funny watching it with the boys, but I wish I was doing something else. You know.
Would you give it a half star?
I gave it a half star.
Nice.
Next up, the next day, I went to theaters and watched When Harry Met Sally.
Ooh.
I think they were showing it for Valentine's Day. I would just assume that's why.
Yeah, probably.
It was in theaters for one day, and it was on Valentine's Day, so I would assume that's connected. I had never seen it, so I was just like, I've heard a lot about it.
I haven't seen it either. It's like a really highly rated rom-com.
Yeah, and I didn't ask you because you were doing something that night, so
yeah,
I just fucked off and did it by myself. But I really liked it.
Really?
I liked it a lot. Yeah. It's set in New York, which is just like my shit.
You like
that? Like 80s
like
New
that?
York. Billy Crystal walking around 80s New York in like a big white sweater, just dripped out of his mind with jeans
crazy.
And some white sneakers.
Oh my God.
He was just fucking dripping.
On another
and
level.
The screenplay is just really good too. It's not a traditional like rom-com romance screenplay, and just really entertaining. A lot of like quick dialogue. It felt sort of like a Billy Wilder movie. I know you probably haven't seen any, but great performances. A lot of chemistry between Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. My first Meg Ryan movie. So I don't know if
nice.
she's like in a lot more, but I've heard her name a lot. So I
She
feel like
was
she probably
big
is.
around that time. I think she was like Julia Roberts. Like you don't
Top
really
Gun
hear-
Maverick. She was in Top Gun Maverick.
I think she's love interest in Top Gun, isn't she?
No, that's Jennifer Connelly.
Maybe not, but she was in Top Gun, right?
She was in both.
Huh. I don't remember
says-
seeing her in.
It says both Top Guns, You've Got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle, and When Harry Met Sally. So not a ton, but not a ton I'll be watching, except for the 2 Top Guns. But anyways, yeah, I really liked it. It was really unique and entertaining and has a great story, great screenplay.
Funny.
Yeah, funny. Yeah.
Sick.
And a really cool score. Like it's got like a jazzy score.
Ooh.
So.
Get some tank in there.
Yeah. So I was fucking in. Gave it a 4.5. Fucked with it heavy.
Love that.
Next day, watch The Nice Guys. Sue me. I'm just a man. All right.
You can only go so long before you need that milk.
That 3-month number just every 3 months it's like I just get a sharp pain in my chest and I'm like gotta put it on.
You know something crazy? I thought about watching The Nice Guys.
You should have
over the weekend.
You would have had a great time.
Yeah.
It's the best movie ever made.
It's so
Sorry,
good, dude.
Sorry. Like I don't know why people are lying about it. Why people are so ashamed to admit it. It's okay. No one's gonna judge you. It's the best movie ever made.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need to. I just need to sit down one day and do a full episode on it. Maybe we could do a. I've been thinking about if people would enjoy an audio, like a watch along. Like if we sat here with mics and watched The Nice Guys and like talk and like did a commentary over it. Maybe that would be boring as shit. No one would like it. I have no idea.
I don't even know if I'd. Like my instinct would be not to talk because I'm like in a movie.
Yeah, but it would be for
run.
people that have seen it before and like are aware.
Yeah.
It's the same idea of a director's commentary, except we're fucking idiots and we're not the director.
Yeah.
But the director's commentary is for people who have already seen the movie and just they don't need to hear what's happening. Like,
yeah.
So that would be what this is for.
Yeah. I'm just
and
saying
for
it's
people
like,
that don't love it as much as we do, maybe we can shed some light on like little things that we like and little things we notice. I don't know. Maybe that's a horrible idea.
I don't think it's a bad idea, but I feel like people that don't like it as much as us
wouldn't want to watch it again and and have a commentary track playing.
I don't think there's anything that we can explain. I think it's just like the comedy connects with us better.
It's just gonna be 2 hours of us laughing.
Yeah, it's just so funny.
But yeah, I said it's the best movie ever made, but technically I have the Batman over it. So I guess technically it's the second best movie ever made. But
is it?
Yeah, it is. If you made me pick, you said the Batman or the Nice Guys, I know what I'm taking. So and it rhymes with vengeance.
Yeah.
So
Thumb drive.
You could have pulled that punch, man. I did.
You've got me on Assaulting 3.
Oh my We're God, fucking dude. Locked in right now. The Nice Guys. What do you want me to say? Best movie ever made. Funniest movie ever made. Perfect screenplay.
Ryan Gosling's hot as shit.
2 of the best comedic performances ever put to film. I don't know. I've talked about it enough. That was like my 8th time watching it. Fuck you. Yeah. All right. Next day, I watched Alan's recommendation, which was American Beauty.
Ooh.
First
What'd you
watch.
think?
That's quite the movie.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it. I think I know what the premise is.
Tell me what you think the premise is.
I think Kevin Spacey bangs his underage neighbor. Or
Okay.
baby? Is it a babysitter?
So, I had no idea what this movie was about going into it, but it's like a classic to most people. It's talked about all the time, and in the first 20 minutes of the movie, the plot revealed that the movie's going to be about is that Kevin Spacey is, he's like kind of a quote unquote like loser. Like his life isn't going as he wanted it to. His daughter hates him. His wife hates him, and they're only not getting a divorce because they have a daughter. And his life fucking sucks. He hates his job, and then his daughter brings home a friend from school, and he wants to fuck her. So
yeah.
I was like, what's happening? Like this can't be allowed. There's no way this is the premise of the movie that everyone loves. Like, how is this not canceled?
It's like
this
a reverse call me by your name.
Kinda, yeah. But the movie turns into something else. But basically, like, him getting the hots for his daughter's friend, like, created a spark that rippled through everything else in his life, and it sort of becomes like Fight Club, and he starts changing everything about his life and like taking control, and just like doing whatever he wants, which is pretty awesome.
That is pretty sick.
It turns into something really cool. But that like first 20 minutes I was like, dude, is this happening? Like,
no
am I watching this?
Yeah.
So it's crazy that so many people love it, considering it has such like a
how old is the girl
bizarre
supposed to be?
Screenplay. I don't know. I mean, I think his daughter's like 16.
Oof.
So her friend's probably 16.
It's even worse that it's Kevin Spacey too.
Yeah, that doesn't help. Doesn't help this cause. But yeah, it turns into something actually like kind of nice and hopeful. It's kind of a roller coaster of a movie, but I really liked it. I gave it a 4.
Heck yeah,
I liked it a lot. So
yeah, I hear a lot of people talk about it, and I knew that was the premise that I had like loosely in my head, and I was like, I don't see much interesting things happening with that, so I never checked it out. But
Alan also found it really funny, which is why he recommended it to me. And I can't say I found it super funny. Maybe on rewatch, once you know what the movie is, maybe I could appreciate more stuff. But there's some moments that I thought were funny, but overall not so much. Maybe a couple times, over the whole movie. But yeah, I like that. Next day I watched Fight Club. What do you want from me?
You want to stop being the coolest guy ever?
Yeah. I was at the gym.
How are you going to watch Fight Club and The Nice Guys like in the same week? You got to chill out, dude.
I just do cool shit here, You
got to
That's what I do.
Down.
I'm a professional cool shit doer. But I was at the gym and I was listening to I was on SoundCloud listening to like edits, like movie edits.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Don't worry about it. But there was a Fight Club one, and it was and I heard Brad Pitt going on this rant about and you got all these kids busting tables and washing cars and working their lives away and going on this rant about consumerism and corporate greed and everything, and how the things you own start to own you and all this shit. And I was like, I need to go back. I need to get back to fucking my homeland.
Yeah.
Of Fight Club.
And you keep fucking shit up.
Because it's just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Fight Club is awesome. It's funny. It's consistently funny because of Tyler Durden and Brad Pitt's delivery on everything.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing. Every shot of Fight Club just looks beautiful, and I can't explain it. It's something about the cinematography and the color grading they chose, but every shot of it, especially the shot when they're sitting outside of the bar and Edward Norton's drinking and Tyler Durden's smoking, and the sky's blue and it's nighttime, all looks so fucking good.
You punched me in the ear.
Yeah. It's a masterpiece. It has one of the best twists of all time. It has great commentary on masculinity and all that shit. And I fucking love it. One of the best needle drop endings of all time.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Come on. What do you want me to say?
Where's it land on your Finchy?
Oh, God. My Fincher rankings are so tough because it's like a 5-way tie at number 1. So one of my movies that I fucking love has to be at number 5. I think I'd put it over The Social Network.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only things above it...
I think you had Tattoo above it for sure. Obviously, Benjamin Button at number 1.
I think I would put Dragon Tattoo, 7, and Zodiac over it.
That's crazy.
But that's, I don't know. I love them all so much. I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. That's fine. I put you on the spot.
Yeah. Next day, did a triple header.
Are you serious?
Crazy. Yeah. It was a Sunday and I didn't have shit to do, and I don't know. Just watch movies.
What'd you hit up, dude?
In the morning, I watched Con Air.
Badass, dude. Fucking sick, dude.
I'd never seen it before, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Like, I gave it a 3.
Cyrus the Virus.
Dude, Nicolas Cage's accent is horrible.
Dude,
His
I don't
country
know.
accent is horrible.
Dude, you're smoking crack.
Put the bunny back in the box.
The bunny back in the box.
I'm not going to let you hurt that woman. It's bad. I love Nicolas Cage.
Con Air. Sounds like fucking Dr.
We're
Phil.
hunting a national treasure. This is like some kind of dream scenario.
Do you have a Malkovich?
No.
No?
I can't do a Malkovich. That's too hard.
We're on the...
that was good. No, why'd you stop? That was great. You got to just enunciate every word.
Yeah.
So delicately.
Cyrus the Virus.
We are on the Con Air.
Yeah, that's it. There you go.
Yeah, that kind of stinks. But it's man shit.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Dude, I watched it. 'cause
guys being dudes.
people talked about it all the time. I watched it the first time. I was like, the fuck, dude? But it does have a charm to it.
Yeah.
There's a...
Nicolas Cage is also yoked.
yeah, dude.
Who let him do that?
Did you see the test footage of him as Superman?
Yeah.
He's fucking hot as shit, dude. But there is a fan theory that Steve Buscemi's character in Con Air is the same as his character in The Big Lebowski.
That's stupid.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of cool, but whatever.
I mean, maybe I need to hear more about the theory. I don't know. I just
But
think
you
that
said it
sounds
was
dumb.
stupid before I could
It's different
elaborate.
filmmakers. Like, why would a person... How does that make sense at all? If Con Air was a Coen Brothers movie, that would make more sense. Like, what the
Well-
fuck why would they connect those two characters?
You want to give me a fucking second, dude? So he's a serial killer, but he's like... He doesn't hurt the little girl, so he kind of has like... somewhat like standards, but I think one of the things they pointed out was like he's always wearing a different person's bowling shirt in The Big Lebowski. Like the name on his bowling shirt is always a different name than his own. And like I think where he like landed was somewhere close to where The Big Lebowski wound up being or something like that. And it was like a good place for him to lay low and like kill bowlers.
That's your name, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb, but that fits because Con Air's dumb. So
Now you might be connecting the dots.
yeah. Next, I watched At Eternity's Gate,
I
which
don't know
is,
what that is.
a movie about Vincent Van Gogh,
Oh, yeah.
played by
Dude,
Willem Dafoe.
Score to that, I overheard it while you were watching it. Pretty fucking gnarly.
It's really fucking good. I don't want to toot their horn, but it's really fucking good.
I was like, so why did he cut his ear off? You're like, he was gonna give it to his buddy.
Here's a little tease of the theme real quick. This is what you can get yourself into if you choose to. It's fucking awesome. Oh fuck.
Way to go.
I didn't know anything about Vincent van Gogh before starting said film. I knew painter, cut off ear.
Yeah.
2 things I knew. Van Gogh.
Yeah.
And now I'm really interested in him as a person because I love the movie. Score's great. One of Willem's best performances. Beautiful cinematography. Just very like immersive into the story. And I didn't know that Vincent van Gogh's life was like that. Like, what do you know about Vincent van Gogh? Maybe his life is more commonly known than I thought. But
so I did know that he got his ear cut, or he cut his ear off. I think I knew I could be wrong, but I think he got committed to a mental institution at one point. But I don't think he was like actually crazy. I think that just like happened. But that's kind of it. I do know that I was doing shit. Probably something stupid. I don't know. But I saw a little bit like of the movie as you were doing stuff, as you were watching it, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, I want to watch that movie."
You should watch it.
Like the couple, I saw like 4 shots, and I was like, "Damn, I want to watch this, dude."
Yeah, it's really fucking gnarly. This isn't a spoiler because it's just what the movie is. It's just like the plot of the movie. But Vincent van Gogh was like really fucking poor, and he was a painter, but no one bought his paintings. So he just like wandered around and painted, and his brother would like send him money to help to like pay for him to have somewhere to live. And he's basically like a pilgrim, and he was so misunderstood, and like you said, he would get sent to asylums, and he wasn't a violent person at all. He was a really nice person, but he was just so no one really got along with him because he was so weird.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's what a lot of the movie is him just like wandering around and painting, and like he died with like no one ever showing him any appreciation of his art. Like his art became famous after he died. Like people told him his paintings were shit.
Yeah.
One of the best artists who's ever lived.
Yeah, I did know that. I like a lot of the artists that people like, except for like Pablo Picasso. I took art class, but I don't remember a lot about like the different types of art.
Mm-hmm.
I think Van Gogh was surrealism. I could be wrong. It could have been Salvador Dali, but I think a lot of those guys that kind of pushed the limits of like what art was, I don't think got a lot of recognition until later on in their life.
Well, I don't know a ton about art, but I know that Vincent van Gogh painted a lot of nature, and people kind of criticized him for it because they were like, why are you painting stuff that we all can see? And he was like, well, you don't see it the way I see it. And because all other people were painting stuff that like they were thinking of in their head, and he was kind of painting stuff as he saw it in the real world, which was like odd at the time, I think. But yeah, I was watching like a little bit of a documentary on him on the way to work this morning because he's fascinating. And yeah, he just like had a shit life. Like when he was 15, he had to quit school and go work because his family was too poor.
Jeez.
So yeah, his parents didn't like him because they had a miscarriage. They had a miscarriage of a son that they were going to name Vincent, and he died. So then they had another one and like named him Vincent, which ended up being Vincent van Gogh. Mm-hmm. So he was like a replacement baby, and they always like didn't like him for that. Like
Jesus.
like they took it out on him that their first baby died.
Way to
First
go, Vincent. You made your mom have a miscarriage.
Way to go, Vincent. You killed Vincent.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
It was just fucked up, and he had a really sad life, and I kind of want to rewatch the movie already.
Ooh.
So I initially gave it a 3.5, but I bumped it up to a 4 because I've been thinking about it a lot, and I want to rewatch it. So
Heck yeah.
there's that, and then got a little surprise for you on the watch list.
Ooh.
I saw something that you watched, and I decided to partake in that film so we could
It better
discuss
not be
it together.
what I think it is.
It's what you think it is. What do you think it is?
Is it fucking Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
It's what you think it is.
Dude, after all the shit you talked.
Because I knew about you. I don't hate Michael Cera. I'm allowed to watch it.
Yeah, but I talked about I was like, hey, we should give it a fair shake. And you were like, no, that's dumb. And then you walked away. And then you came in and you were like, way to go watching this movie. And I was like,
making fun of you because you hate Michael Cera. Your name on every platform is fuck Michael Cera.
Yeah, dude.
And you shit on Scott Pilgrim all the time. I always thought it looked fun. Like I had never watched it, but
we both tried.
But I don't have anything against Michael Cera, so I went in because I was like, Carl watched it, and he's gonna go shit on it on the pod, and I don't want to just sit there and be like, I'll take your word for it. Like I was like, it'd be cool if we both watched it, and I can see if what he's saying is reasonable or not, or if it's just he's blinded by Michael Cera hate.
Well, let's get into it.
So you gave it a 1.5, right?
I initially gave it a 2, and then I backed it down to a 1.5. That could be Michael Cera's spite. The 1.5 could be spite, but at most I do think it's a 2-star. And I watched it. I like Edgar Wright. I do think it's very stylized. It looks very cool. It's very interesting. I think that some of the stuff I don't think I'd like Scott Pilgrim as like a story. Like in any medium. I know there's an animated series that's based on a graphic novel. I don't think I would like any of it because I think if what I know is true, which is Edgar Wright really captured what Scott Pilgrim is in the movie, I don't think I would like it. Because the weird, like, quirkiness of all the characters, I don't think really connects with me. I know I didn't laugh a lot. I laughed, like, 1 or 2 times.
I didn't laugh a ton either. But there were some moments. There was the moment where he was at the bar, and then you saw the 2 things come up in his brain, and it was like, I've got to go pee and something else. And then he accidentally melded them 2 together and said, I've got to go pee on her. And then it was like this awkward moment. And then he tried to make up for it, and he kept talking, and he was like, got to go pee. Pee time. And then walked away. And when he said pee time, I thought it was funny. And it was just like occasionally his awkward humor would work. And like the first time he was on a walk with Ramona, and she accidentally called it a date, and then he was like, so this is a date? And she was like, oh, it must have been a slip of the tongue. And he went, tongue.
Yeah, I think the couple times I laughed was, Kieran made me laugh a lot. Kieran's funny. And Jason Schwartzman made me laugh. I really like Jason Schwartzman. But for like 95% of the movie, the comedy I didn't think was funny. And that's kind of big on a movie that
Chris
is supposed
Evans
to be
was
a comedy.
funny.
Chris Evans was funny.
Yeah.
He did a great Hispanic accent in that movie.
All right.
I bought it, you know. He did everything he was supposed to do.
All right. We don't need to get into all that.
So that was really cool. But I was like, you know, the aesthetic of everything's good. I like what Edgar Wright did. And the cast really did everything that they were supposed to. I just don't think the comedy really connected with me at all. And in turn, I also didn't really care about the characters because the characters are a lot of the funny thing that they're talking about. Like Michael Cera as Scott Pilgrim, I didn't give a fuck about anything that happened to him.
Well, see, that's part of my problem with the movie. I gave it a 3, which is much lower than most people. I kind of got flamed for it, actually. It's a movie that a lot of people love, and I think the problem is, I think this movie was made for teenagers and younger people.
Yeah.
I think if I watched this when I was like 13, I would have loved it.
Oh, yeah. I got that too. I got that vibe too.
And I just think I'm too old for it now. I didn't grow up with it, and I've kind of aged out of a lot of the comedy. And so that's one thing. Like, I just didn't find it that funny or that entertaining. But the main thing for me was, like, I didn't really like the characters. I liked some of the side characters because I thought they were funny, like Kieran. But the two main characters, Scott and Ramona, like, I didn't really like them or care about them. I mean, I kind of don't understand why people even like Scott Pilgrim as a character. Like, maybe some people don't think cheating's a big deal, but, like, I thought that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
So, there's that, and then he has this reputation. All of his friends reference how he's, like, basically a womanizer, and he just, like, goes through girlfriends and just, like, breaks all their hearts. And first of all, no one's buying that.
I saw that too, and I was like, yeah, right, dude.
Yeah, he's wearing a shirt that says Sharpie.
Yeah.
No shot. He's pulling like that. But he didn't do a single thing in the movie that made him a likable character to me.
Yeah.
And so I don't really care about what's happening. It has nothing to do with Michael Cera. I have nothing against Michael Cera, and I think he normally does well at what he's asked to do. I think he's great in Superbad, and I think he reads every line like he's supposed to in the movie. It's a writing thing. It's not a Michael Cera acting thing for me. I just don't like that character. And then Ramona, like, what am I supposed to like about her? I don't understand too much about that.
Yeah, it seems like the characters just kind of always make a big deal. She's like, I just had trying to escape my past, and it's like, your past is just like you dated a couple of assholes at one point.
Yeah.
And then they might want to fight your current boyfriend.
Yeah.
You don't gotta move to Canada to do that.
Yeah. And then you also said that Scott was the nicest boyfriend you've ever had, but you're still trying to leave him at the end.
Yeah.
So why?
He also fucking
just kicked
cheated
ass
on you, dude.
He just kicked ass, 7 asses, and he's the nicest guy you've ever dated, and you still want to leave him. Like, this doesn't compute. I don't understand. But
yeah.
So that's the main reason I didn't really love the movie, was just I didn't like the characters that much and didn't really care what was happening. But besides that, I think this is a great example of a director just whipping his cock out. Because none of the problems I have with the movie are an Edgar Wright thing. He did a perfect job directing this movie. And it just feels like one of those just like right on the money, of course he directed this.
Yeah.
Like, it feels so perfect. You can't just take Edgar Wright out and replace him with someone else. Like, this is an Edgar Wright movie from beginning to end. Yeah. And I loved his direction. Like, I thought he did so much cool shit with the editing. And there was a lot of shit that just, like, looked good. Like, the movie just looks good.
Yeah.
Some of the CGI looks a little wonky, but just, like, when there's
kind
just
of
normal
a goofy
shots.
movie, so it plays like
Yeah. But when there's just, like, normal shots of them walking in the snow in the park, like, it just looks good, the whole thing.
There is a sequence, and some of it's, like, fast, but like what comes to mind is like when he rushes the pyramid that Jason Schwartzman's on, and he's like running up it, and they do that elongated shot, and he's running up with a sword. Like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
and
they
the
also
action
did
sequences aren't bad at all.
Oh yeah, the action is really good.
Yeah,
and they did a thing when Chris Evans was running at Scott. They did the camera move that they do in The Flash with his boot to make it look like time's warping.
Yeah.
And they did that, but like much better. When Scott was running at him, they did that warp maneuver, and it was like he was running towards him, but he was getting farther away because of the camera move.
Yeah.
But it looked really cool. I was like, that's what
they were trying to do.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's fine. I don't hate it by any means, but I just think you kind of just had to like grow up with it. I could see it. I understand why people love it nowadays if they grew up with it, and it's just same reason I like Fantastic Four. If you watch the 2005 Fantastic Four for the first time right now, you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
You're going to say this is poo. But I grew up with it, so I like it. And that's just the way it is for a lot of movies, like Wild Hogs.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't like Wild Hogs if I'd watched it for the first time now. But so I feel like Scott Pilgrim was a movie a lot of kids watched like as a teenager, and they just have that nostalgia for it, and I don't. But also just the whole 7 Deadly Exes thing, I just don't really find interesting.
Yeah. It doesn't help too that like some of them just like,
dude, that first
suck.
guy was fucking annoying.
Oh yeah.
Like I wanted to kill myself.
Was it Matthew Patel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill myself.
That was, I'll be honest, when that happened, I thought about cutting it off.
Yeah.
But then I was like, the opening credits happened, and I was like, it's a big cast, and I haven't seen a lot of these people, so I'll hold out. And like I knew going into it, I knew that Brie Larson sang Black Sheep. I knew that she did a good job too. So I was like, I'm gonna get to that part at least, and we'll see if I can hang on.
Did you like when Scott jumped out of the window when Knives was knocking at the door?
I did.
And he was like, he just left.
Yeah, I did like that.
That was pretty good.
But like, I don't know. Then they'll, in the same like note, they'll do a joke like,
I liked. Sorry, I liked the Brandon Routh vegan thing.
I was gonna
how he lost his powers because he tricked him into breaking his vegan streak, and how vegans just have like superpowers.
Yeah,
I thought that was funny.
I was actually gonna mention that as a not funny thing.
Oh wow!
How it was like, it seemed like that one really, when they did that whole thing, they were like, "No, he's vegan." I was like, "This is really showing its age." That joke.
I thought it was funny because it just makes no fucking sense, but it's just funny.
I think like vegans think they're better than everyone else, I think is what it was, so they leaned into that.
I didn't really take it like that.
Oh, I thought that's what they were talking
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, maybe that was the point.
I do know Brandon Routh is a stud.
Handsome fella.
That guy was beefed up.
Yeah. I don't know how old his character was supposed to be, but not Brandon Routh age. No, they took 15 years off for that role. But anyways, yeah, I think it's fine. I gave it a 3. What do you want from me?
Yeah. I might have it lower than what it should be. Realistically, it's probably a 2 on my scale, but I would be interested in talking to someone that like thinks that that's like a 4.
I had a friend in high school that was his favorite movie.
I mean, yeah, when we were in high school.
But
actually, no, I still don't even get that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd like someone to explain it to me.
Yeah, I don't know. But shout out to Edgar. Edgar snapped.
Edgar did
nothing wrong.
Yeah.
He's my Pookie Bear, and he did absolutely nothing wrong. He whipped his cock out.
Yeah.
Moving on. Top 5 sci-fi movies of all time. That's the main show here. That's what all the people have been clamoring for.
That's what they're here for.
No one clamored for it, but we're doing it anyways.
Yeah. No one asked for this.
I'll go ahead and start. Number 5. We'll give our top 5, and then we'll list. I have a couple honorable mentions. My number 5, very tough decision here, but I ended up going with Arrival.
My number 5 is Arrival as well. It's going to be pretty wild if our shit lines up. I don't know if it will.
Our shit come on up.
We'll see.
I think we'll have the same 5 movies, but maybe in different order.
Maybe, yeah.
Yep, Arrival. Good Lord, man. I mean, King Denis.
He was fucking out of his mind.
I just think this is, not to sound like a dick or try to sound like pretentious, but I just feel like this is science fiction for smart people. That's what this is. Yeah. This is a movie you recommend to people that you know love science fiction and watches a lot of science fiction. You don't recommend this to your mom.
Yeah.
Or your coworker. Because, to be honest, it takes a couple watches. Yeah. Like, it takes a couple watches to really get it. And it's going to... A lot of people may consider it boring because it's an alien movie and there's no, like... There's no war. There's no, like, anything really, like, climactic happening. So it's not your typical alien invasion movie, but I just love every second of it. I love the characters. The score is great. It looks great visually. The design they created for the aliens looks amazing.
Yeah. And
I just love the process of seeing them being able to decode what they're saying.
Yeah.
That long process of them trying to communicate with them. And what it builds up to is just beautiful.
Yeah. I read somewhere that Denis was like, Denis said he knew like immediately what he wanted the spaceship and the beings to look like. But he was like, he had trouble coming up with a way that like humans, because their ship isn't designed for humans. So he was like, how can we have humans navigate such like a linear structure? Mm-hmm. And he was like, somehow he came up with the idea to have the gravity turn sideways when they enter their ship. And he was like, fuck yeah, that was, of course. Like, why was I even worried about it?
Yeah.
It was like one of those fucking
doy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a movie that every time I watch it, it gets better. And may possibly even make me cry. I mean,
it definitely tickles the old nerves. I can tell you that.
But yeah, that's my number 5.
Yeah,
Arrival.
I like that.
My number feezy is Interstellar.
Ooh, that's not my feezy.
Yeah. Best score of all time. Fuck you. Not taking any other options from anyone else. I won't.
No guff.
I will not have it. I won't have it. No other.
You're not gonna let him leave, Murph.
No other scores touching this. I love the Dune score. I love Oppenheimer's score. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
This is the cream of the crop. This is
the corn crop.
The bread of the butter. This is the tip of the penis.
Yeah.
There's no touching this fucking score ever.
Yeah.
It is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. And it is Interstellar. Like, I'm sorry. If you replace the Interstellar score with something generic, it's like a 3.5 to me.
Ooh.
I feel like the score is that pivotal. It is a completely different movie with Hans Zimmer's score. And I will stand by that. And Interstellar's a movie that I used to be a lot harder on because I don't love the ending. Because I just always felt like the movie was so scientific throughout the whole thing. And then at the end, it's like, oh, love. It's like, this feels like a 180 from what we've been doing this whole time. Everything's been very concrete, very scientific. And then at the end, it's like, love conquers all. It's like, eesh. This doesn't feel like the same movie I've been watching.
Yeah.
But then the more I watch it, the more I accept it and I can appreciate it. And it doesn't really bother me anymore. There's still a couple things that bother me about the movie, but like, I still give it a 5-star, and the good outweighs the bad.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
My number 4, again, this was hard. And I just want to preface by, like, there's some movies I might have higher than others because this is a top sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what? I'll get into it later. But my number 4 is Blade Runner 2049.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're an idiot. Sorry.
Again, all these movies are 5-star movies, but I think Blade Runner 2049 visually is one of the best looking movies ever made. Like, every shot is a come town shot. Ryan Gosling is incredible. Harrison Ford's still going after it. I just think the movies I have above Blade Runner 2049 are either they're either movies I prefer over it, or they have some kind of cooler sci-fi element. But I still think 2049 is a perfect movie.
All right. Hell yeah. My number 3 is Inception.
Ooh. Is that my number
Mustn't
3?
be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
Okay, my number 3 is Inception too.
Okay.
Good.
As Inception has a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
It was one of the first science fiction movies like I remember watching when I was first getting into movies. It was something that really stuck out to me as like, there's not much like this. And I've seen it so many times. I'm wearing an Inception shirt right now as we speak. So, for some reason nowadays there's this hate train for Inception.
I didn't know of such
Dude,
things.
there's people that think it's not that good. Like Alan. Alan calls it midception.
Alan, you're tripping on God, my guy.
That's what I'm saying.
But I do know that Inception was the first time I realized how dumb my siblings were, because we all watched it together, and they were like, "Well, is he dreaming or is he not dreaming?" I'm like, "Go fuck yourself, dude. What are you, an idiot?"
Yeah. I showed this to my dad, and he said he didn't get it. So
Yeah.
awesome.
But like my brothers and sisters are older than me, and I was like, "You guys, I'm putting this together here."
I'll say this. Inception, for some reason, has a reputation of being a confusing movie. And here's what I'll say. If you think Inception's confusing, you may have a deficiency of some sort. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Everything in the movie is very clearly explained, if not overly explained.
Yeah.
Some people actually dislike how much things are explained in this movie. They don't like the amount of exposition.
Yeah.
I say patooey to that, because first of all, different movies require different amounts of exposition. Some movies need no exposition, and that's great, and you can tell most of the story visually or with minimal dialogue. John Wick doesn't need exposition. You can see everything laid out perfectly. Some movies require exposition. The key is trying to get the exposition to feel natural and not feel forced.
Yeah.
A great example of unforced exposition is in Dune, when you have Paul watching videos learning about Arrakis. And so no one's speaking to the camera. No one's saying anything out of character. Like everyone's seen those shitty movies when there's two people walking in a hallway that have known each other their whole lives. They're like brothers or something. And then they're like, ever since dad passed away and blah, 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 and now mom hates us and blah, blah, blah. And they're saying shit that they wouldn't be saying because they're brothers and they already know everything.
Yeah.
Like, they're saying it because we need to know it. And you're like, why would they be saying this? Like, they both know this. This doesn't make any sense. The key with exposition is making it fit in the story and not feel forced and like you're forcing it in so the audience knows. And that's what Inception does. Inception has a great way of showing its exposition because they're teaching the rules of their world to Ariadne.
Yeah.
So we're watching her learn, and in turn we're learning about it.
Yeah.
So it never feels Bad exposition would be if it was Cobb and what's that fucker's name? Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I don't know. Arthur. If it was Cobb and Arthur sitting in a room together, just them two, and then Cobb's just like, if we die in the dream, then we die for real. And they just go back and forth.
And he just goes, I know, boss.
Yeah, and they just go back and forth explaining the rules of Inception.
Yeah.
It's like, that would make no sense. They both know how all this shit works. They do it for a living.
Yeah.
That would be forced, and that would be bad. And that's what a lot of movies do. But Inception always has a way of, and also the people in the movie are learning about Inception themselves too, because they've never really done it on this scale before.
Yeah, Cobb's the only one that.
Cobb's the only one that's done it.
Most people, everyone on the team knows of Inception. Cobb's actually done it, and then Ari has no idea what's going on.
Yeah. So there's parts where they're finding out about like the potion, I forget what they call it, that they need to take to sedate themselves for long enough, and like how much you'll need of it to go like 3 layers deep and blah blah blah, and there's like members of the team still learning about it. So I just think complaining about exposition in Inception is kind of stupid to me, because can you make an Inception movie without exposition? Fuck no.
No.
There's already people that think it's too confusing.
Yeah.
Like, he's creating a world that doesn't exist. He has to explain it.
Yeah.
All he can do is try to make it feel as natural as possible, which he did, teaching Ariadne the rules. So, like, I don't know what else you really want in terms of exposition. If you just don't like the story or don't like the characters, I guess that's fine. If, like, I can't do anything about that. You either like it or you don't. I love it. And I will say the characters aren't super strong in Inception. It's pretty much just Cobb it's Cobb and Fisher that have layers and are interesting characters, and everyone else not as much. But for me, it's like, I'm typically a character over plot guy when it comes to movies, but Inception is a exception of the plot is just
Inception is an exception.
The plot's just so fucking good that I don't really mind the characters not being the most well written or whatever. And even though, like, I do care about Cobb, and I care a lot about Cobb and Fisher, but everyone else not so much. So at least the main character of the movie I care about and I think is interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't mind not learning a lot about the team because of how interesting of a character Cobb is. Mm-hmm. When you slowly start piecing together that he has done Inception and the stuff with his wife and
it ruined his life.
Yeah, and all that, and like he's doing whatever he can do to return back home, and how he's been stranded all this time.
He's having to do the thing that ruined his life to try to get his life back.
Yeah. So Cobb is such a tremendous character. I don't think we need like more information on Arthur or
it's not important.
Ari or the chemist or anything.
Talk
like
about
that.
Exposition. Like, people are already say there's too much exposition, and you want more, like, and some people want more character backstories of side characters. It's like they're just there to play their role. Like,
movies about Cobb.
Tom Hardy puts on masks and it looks like people.
Yeah.
What do you want? I don't know. I mean,
pulls out grenade launchers.
I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's pretty much a flawless movie. One of the most impressive movies I've ever seen. I think I said on the podcast before, like, it's crazy enough that Inception was something someone thought of. Like, someone in their head just thought of the plot to Inception. It's crazier that he actually sat down and developed a full, well-rounded script around it, and then actually made it, and made it perfectly. And everything that he describes in the script translates perfectly onto the screen.
Yeah.
And there's so much complicated shit. Like the hallway fight scene. Like, they built a hallway that spins so they could film that. So they're spinning the hallway put the actors inside and do the fight while the hallway's spinning, because Nolan's a practical effects king and he doesn't do CGI. So, oh, dude, there's just
coming up with the idea of a world where people can invade and steal your thoughts by invading your dreams.
Yeah.
But then also taking that and be like, all right, that's an established world. These people are trying to plant a thought.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, stop.
That would have been a cool enough plot already.
Fine.
And then he doubled down.
Yeah, he's 3 layers deep making a movie about being 3 layers deep.
Yeah.
He's fucking 6 levels under.
Everyone has heard that Nolan worked on that script for 10 years, and you can just tell.
Yeah.
Like, it's not something that you can just sit down and think of in one night and jot it all down. Like, I think it's a masterpiece, and it never gets old. Hans Zimmer's score is fucking amazing. One of the best endings of all time. Probably my favorite final shot of a movie ever.
I agree with that.
I don't know what the competition is, but
I mean, I really like the ending to Fight Club, but I do prefer Inception.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite final shot. And also the climax with Fisher. I won't get too much into details, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
With the safe. I love that shit so much. That makes me cry.
Yeah.
So, Inception, my number 3.
So fucking good.
Now that I'm talking about it, like, I kind of want to bump it up to 2, but I'll just leave it the way I have it.
I have stuff in front of 2 in front of Inception because it's just sci-fi on a whole nother level. Like, Inception's a tremendous movie, and it does have sci-fi elements that are really good. But, like, these other movies I have above it, I think, like, just ooze sci-fi. Like, this is what I think of when I think sci-fi, you know?
Uh-huh. So what's your number 3?
My number 2...
Oh, it was Inception.
Yeah. My number 2 is Dune. Denis Villeneuve. Getting it done. Dune is incredible. It's fucking wild. I love Dune, and the world is so... I know he didn't, like, write the world, you know, it's the novel, but it's just so dense, and there's so many elements of just crazy stuff that goes on in Dune. And when I think of sci-fi, like, a world like that, like, I do think I prefer Dune more than Blade Runner 2049, like, a good amount. So that's the reason why I put it up higher than 2049. Like, Inception is such a good movie, I put it in front of 2049. And Dune, I think, is better than 2049, and then has those sci-fi elements. So that's why I put it at number 2. Because it's just so fucking good.
Yeah. We don't really have to talk too much about Dune, because we just did a 2-hour episode on it last week. So that should cover the bases about how we feel about Dune. My number 2 is Blade Runner 2049.
Ooh.
And the only reason I'm hesitant about putting it over Inception is because it doesn't make me feel as much as Inception does. Inception gets me emotional, and Blade Runner 2049 doesn't really. But I think it's just a masterpiece. Best looking movie I've ever seen. I don't think that's a hot take.
No.
It's definitely in the conversation for most people. I love the score by Hans Zimmer. I think it's the perfect example of how to do a sequel. They pay respects to the original. They intertwine the story from the original, but expand on it and do something new and bring in new characters, and doesn't disrespect the original in any way, but also kind of improves on it. And not to say, like, I don't know. I mean, I prefer 2049, but I'm not saying it's better than Blade Runner. but it just like expands on it. It adds more world building to it. And the whole like Blade Runner was sort of a just in Blade Runner he was just trying to track down the replicants and kill them. And that was like the plot of the movie. But in 2049 it's a lot more of a detective story.
Yeah.
Which I fucking love detective stories. That's my goddamn shit. So mixing Blade Runner with a detective story paired with my favorite actor of all time,
God,
you're just gonna get some immaculate shit.
With a sick ass coat on.
Yeah, big ass fucking trench coat. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, everyone loves it. There's not a second that I'm bored during 2049. And like I said, I'm hesitant to put it over Inception because I love Inception so much. But there's not many things I'd rather watch than Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm entering
also
a different world.
Yeah.
Like I am transported out of reality when I watch that
It's
movie.
a sci-fi list. So that also like comes into play. Like I prefer Inception, but I could see someone putting 49 over Inception for like a sci-fi list because every element in Blade Runner is sci-fi.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the only thing sci-fi in Inception is sort of just the dreams, like entering the dreams. Everything else is sort of reality-ish. But Blade Runner, every single shot is reminding you that it's a science fiction movie.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, but that's my number 2. And I know what your number 1 is, but I'll go ahead and say mine.
I think I know what your number 1 is.
My number 1's Dune. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about it really because we just did an episode on it. If you want to hear our Dune thoughts, go listen to that. It's the best science fiction movie ever made. I don't know what you want me to say. I mean, I've seen it 6 times now. I just rewatched it in IMAX. I already want to watch it again. Hans Zimmer's best score outside of Interstellar. Denis Villeneuve's a master, and part 2 might be even better.
I was gonna say, in reality, both of our number 1s is Dune 2. We just don't know for sure yet.
Yeah. God, I'm so fucking excited for Dune 2.
Dude, I'm not gonna be able to sleep like the night before.
So fucking mad I'm gonna be gone for the opening.
I'm gonna have the jitters.
Dude, I'm so fucking mad. Like, people don't understand. For the scoopers out there, if you're not aware, I'm gonna be on a cruise when Dune 2 comes out because I agreed to go on the cruise knowing Dune 2 wasn't coming out. I checked the dates and I was like, okay, Dune 2 is March 14th, so I'm gonna go on this cruise from February 23rd to March 1st. That's 2 weeks, a 2-week period of me being back from the cruise before Dune 2 comes out. So I'm chilling. And then I booked the cruise, and then they moved the date up 2 weeks. No one ever moves dates up 2 weeks. Yeah. Like, you either move a date back months or you don't move it at all.
Yeah.
Like, they were fucking with me. So, I mean, Dune is a top 5 movie of all time for me. So it's a sequel to one of my favorite movies ever made, and I'm gonna be fucking gone. It makes me so mad. I would not have gone on the cruise. Yeah. Like, that would have been a deal breaker for me.
I've been watching movies for a long time, and I don't think I've ever heard of them moving a movie up.
It never fucking happens.
I've never heard of that happening.
It never
before.
happens. So I'm upset because they had a fan first screening on the 25th, like IMAX Dune 2 fan first, like what we did for the Batman, but for Dune 2, and they had a screening on the 25th, and I could have got tickets, but I couldn't because I'm gonna be on the cruise, and I was just staring at the tickets all get bought, and like it made me so fucking sad.
God, just watching other people eat your lunch.
Yeah.
God, that sucks.
So now we've got to watch it on. We're technically getting back March 1st, but I already just know I'm going to be too tired.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk my first watch of Dune 2 being tired. So we're watching it the morning after that on March 2nd. Earliest screening possible at 11 a.m. So I'll be like a week after all the people that went to the fan first screening, but I'm going to be on a cruise, so on the bright side, I won't have any cell reception or Wi-Fi on the cruise, so I'll be off the grid and I won't be seeing people talking about it.
Yeah.
I can kind of try to remove myself from it and then just stay on airplane mode until I see it, like that night, and just not get on my phone at all and wait it out. Even though I don't know why, because I've already read the book, so it's not like I'm worried about spoilers. I just don't like
more like visual spoilers.
I don't like hearing too much about movies before I see them.
Yeah.
Like, there's been a bunch of Dune 2 interviews come out. Timothy Chalamet, Austin Butler, Denis Villeneuve. Like, I would love to watch those. I love watching interviews, but I don't want the director or the interviewer to ask questions about the movie they just watched. Like, how did you do in this scene when the Sardaukar did this? And I was like, I don't want to hear about this. Like, I haven't seen it yet. So I always avoid interviews for stuff like that until I've seen the movie, because I have a feeling the interviewer is going to ask questions related to the movie, and I don't want to hear anything about it. So,
no, I get it. I get it for sure.
And what has slid through the cracks of like early reactions of Dune 2 is that like it's as good as we think it is. People are saying one of the best sequels of all time, like better than the first. So that's all I want to know. I don't want to hear anything else.
Denis getting silly. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah. So just give it. We should have fucking seen it 4 months ago. Anyways, Dune. That's my number one. And I know what your number one is.
Interstellar.
Don't let me leave, Murph.
Interstellar is, I think, the pinnacle of sci-fi. And not only is it an incredible movie, but they cover so many different scientific theories that people talk about. You got me that really cool book that I'm probably going to take on the cruise on the scientific theories of Interstellar. The visuals are jaw-dropping. I mean, when they're orbiting the black hole, it's wild. And I also get really emotional watching Interstellar. Like, there's 2 moments at least I know that I'm tearing up, probably full blown, dropping down the cheeks.
Yeah.
I love Matthew McConaughey, love love Nolan. It's incredible, and like you said, one of the best scores ever made.
The best. I didn't say one of the best.
I think it's the best, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I said, the best.
The best score ever made.
Thank you.
Hans Zimmer is he's the GOAT.
Yep.
Just how it is.
Yep, Rooney. By the way, if anyone ever tries to tell you that this movie isn't as good as 2001, they're phonies. It's all you phonies.
Yeah.
That's just fiction. That's just not true.
I respect the hell out of 2001 for what it is.
Dude, there's so many people that love 2000. 2001 is Denis' favorite movie. And I don't know what it is with like the age gap. I'm sure if you saw 2001 in theaters, it was probably like seeing fucking Aliens. Like,
no, I get that being Denis' favorite movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because he's so old.
Yeah.
Like, but Nolan and Denis watched 2001 and said, "Wow, I love this. This is awesome. I'm gonna go make something better." Yeah. So now we've seen the better stuff. So they're not gonna put their own movie on their favorite movie list. Like, they're gonna pay respects to what their favorite movies are.
Yeah, you can't do that. Only Quentin Tarantino would probably do that.
Yeah, but like, come on, guys, we know. Like,
yeah, it makes sense for that to be Denis' favorite sci-fi movie, because Denis is one of the best sci-fi directors working today.
Yeah.
So like obviously that's inspired him a lot.
Yeah, like I respect 2001, and I don't think it's terrible or anything, but
I do think like
it's
put myself.
We've surpassed it.
Oh yeah,
in sci-fi.
But put myself in the shoes of like a guy watching 2001 for the first time. I'd be like, they fucking went. They shot this in space.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on here?
That comes out in 1969.
Dude.
Like, are you joking?
I'd probably start like shooting a gun at people if I saw that. I'd be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah. What does the baby mean?
Yeah. Dude, I'd start losing. I'd start a fucking mob. I'd burn some stuff.
Yeah. 2001 is always something that like I always tell myself, oh, when I rewatch it, I'll like it more. Like I'll get it, and then I watch it again, and I'm like, yeesh. There's elements I love. I love the Howl stuff. But then it just gets so weird and
I watched a big like I watched a guy do like a breakdown on it, and I appreciate it more. Oh god! Each time I watch it, and I think if I watched it recently after having watched this breakdown of like the evolution plotline being as big as it is, maybe I'd like it more. I don't know. I also am just never itching to watch 2001.
Yeah.
Every other movie on this list.
It's kind of a chore to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, every other movie on this list, I'm like, fucking Interstellar right now? Okay,
yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Let's go into it.
No skin off my nose.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently the book is a lot more clear about what's happening, and it's less like metaphorical and spiritual, and it's more just like this is what's happening. So maybe if I read the book, I will appreciate the movie more. But who knows?
I don't know. With Kubrick, though, it could be nothing like the book at all. Like, he could just told a completely different story.
Probably. Yeah, that probably could have happened. But a couple honorable mentions didn't make the list. I had to decide for my number 5 between Arrival and Back to the Future. Because Back to the Future used to be like one of my favorite movies. But it's just I've seen more stuff now, and
I'm glad you picked Arrival. I love Back to the Future too, but I am glad you picked Arrival.
I think if you made me pick, like, hey, you can only watch one of those ever. Like, the one you don't pick, you'll never be able to watch again. Probably pick an Arrival.
Yeah.
But Back to the Future, Blade Runner, the original, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Alien, The Thing, and T2 Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Those are my honorable mentions.
Those were all movies except for Alien that I had a list of 10 that I whittled down. But Alien for me leans so much horror. That's the reason why I took The Thing off the list too. I was like, this is just like, I put this in horror and not quite experimenting on the highest levels with sci-fi, so I took it out.
Right.
But definitely I think I had Dawn on there just because I prefer Dawn to War because I'm weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took that off just because I went with the other ones.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's all we got this week. Next week we'll be on the cruise, but I have an idea for possibly a little bonus episode that we can record early and have it scheduled to upload while we're gone. May do that, maybe not.
We'll see.
So if we don't do that, our next episode will probably be about Dune 2.
Oh my god, dude.
So
it's going to be 4 hours long.
Yeah. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be us turning on mics and then coming in our pants for 3 hours.
Dude.
That's what the Dune 2 episode's going to be.
I'm going to try not to talk to you about it after we watch. I'm going to talk to you about it.
We're going to talk about it.
Yeah. Never mind.
So yeah, we'll see what happens there, but thanks for tuning in to The Scoop.
Film Scoop.
Film Scoop.
Holy fuck.